Welcome into the Blurred Wire. Today we are going to discuss a show that, I've been watching and just reached its season 3 finale. Warning though, this show is very intense. And I'm going to talk about it in full detail. So, first of all, spoiler warning for Invincible. Second of all, trigger warning because it is a very, very intense show. So, I barely have the stomach for some of the things that happened in the finale. So if you don't, this is probably not the episode. But it's Invincible. We gotta talk about it. So here we are. So in of course the season 8 finale, Invincible fought Conquest. Now it's funny. I watched season 7. When I saw episode 7, I thought that was the finale with all the Invincibles from different dimensions, and that what's his name, Conquest arrived for the Viltrumite, the storyline that they left off with the other Viltrumite. And I was kind of expecting that it was going to be that was going to be it, and that was going to kind of be the cliffhanger. And season 4 would start with him fighting. So I'm kind of glad that we ended up seeing that fight. Also, oh my god, wow, that was intense. And I mean, like, we shouldn't really be surprised. I don't know how I just get so forgetful about how brutal and intense the show can be. Like while Conquest was fighting, a kid literally lost his arm and we had to see it. And I really thought he was gonna rip Invincible Brothers in half. Like I think it was only taking him that long because like Viltrumite DNA is really strong and was probably holding him together. Um, so yeah, definitely an intense season, intense episode. I kind of like where they're going with Mark and Eve's character arcs. Seeing as Eve, you know, learned recovered from having a hole punched through her, and was able to, the way that they blocked off her powers to where she can't rearrange sentient matter unless those mental blocks are erased. And so I'm wondering if in season 4, like my theory is, I think Cecil is going to decide to take those mental blocks off. And that's going to be a huge part of season 4 because he's going to be like, you're the only one. Like, throughout the whole show, we've been looking at Mark as the only one who can defeat the Viltrumites. But Cecil, especially after what Mark did at the beginning and their whole falling out, Cecil might start looking at Eve as the best way to defeat the Viltrumites because she can rearrange their matter. And she held her own against Conquest. She rearranged the molecules in the air so he was flying through her, increased the density. So there's a lot that she could do against Viltrumites, especially if she has those blocks removed and she could rearrange sentient matter and make, like, she could literally make their arms like stuck together, like make their arms into a straitjacket, if she wanted to. Stuff like that, like I'm pretty sure she could, like, I don't know if that's just like an instant kill thing, because like when she stood up, she blasted Conquest with like a blast of energy and he like survived, and then Mark ended up being the one who killed him. Well, killed him, but I guess knocked him unconscious. But I guess we will see. We will see because it definitely feels like she has a better chance with her powers because of what she can do. Because being able to rearrange matter is just crazy. You can turn anything into anything. Um, it did feel like they kind of wrapped up a lot of storylines towards the end and just kind of moved everything to a new position. So it's kind of hard to talk about the season as a whole because they bounced around from a lot of different plot points. Obviously, it was a very sad day for fans of Rexplode. He was a great character. I think, Invincible has a habit of killing characters and then not killing them. Like they look dead, but then they come back to life, or they seem dead, but they're not really dead. Like even when Battle Beast was fighting Mark and like hit him in the stomach, and I was like, oh wow, they just killed Invincible. I was like, oh no, it's just, like even though your guts are falling out, like you're not like actually dead. Like you just need some time in the hospital. Okay, but again, he's a Viltrumite, so it's a little bit different. Um, but I do think Rexplode did kind of give his life, and that's gonna kind of end up being it. He's gone for good. So the show had some very interesting parallels. I thought Simu Liu did a great job as Multipole. Um, and I did kind of like the storyline with the dragon. I thought when they had what's his name, Titan, and the who had to, he was what's his name, whoever the dragon leader was, and how he Titan owed him money and all the things that he had to do in order to serve him. I thought it was going to be more interesting. Like I thought Titan was just going to go after him while he was outside of his body in the giant dragon. But I guess that's not really what ended up happening. Um, but yeah, so it's hard because it's like it's telling a cohesive story, but it also kind of bounces around a lot, and that's what comics do. I think this show is like the best indication of like a comic book storyline because comics often have one narrative, but they kind of bounce from different narratives and like they'll play a whole narrative out and then they'll leave it and bounce to another one and then return to that narrative and keep playing it and somehow that will affect the next one or something like that. They'll just bounce all around. So things like that will be very interesting to see how it plays out. Like I said, my prediction, I think Cecil, my number one prediction is I think Cecil is going to try to take those mental blocks off of Adam Eve. And also my biggest question is like it's gonna sound weird, but like so Adam Eve, um, she can recreate molecules, and at one point she's like, "Man, I need money. Me and Mark need money." So they start a business to protect a prison of like supervillains. Okay, but also what? But also can't she just like make money? Like, can't she just like I don't know if she finds it unethical. If I had her powers, I wouldn't find it unethical. I would just make money and give it to people. Like I would just make a bunch of money, give it to people, make a bunch of money, give it to people, make a bunch of money, give it to myself. Like I don't really I don't really understand why making money was like a thing when it feels like there's a pretty simple solution there basically. But I could be wrong. Maybe that's not how it works, but I don't really know how it's not. Like would those bills be counterfeit? But I mean, she can just make them look exactly as real as they need to be. So I don't know. So let me know your thoughts on that. Why didn't can Adam like I don't know if she maybe I missed something of her saying like, oh no, that wouldn't be ethical. But yeah, can she just not make money? And also, what do you think is gonna happen next season? I think the way that they did this season, they really kind of moved everything, not necessarily to put her front and center, but like in season two, her character wasn't as prominent, I don't think, throughout all those developments. And also he was still with Zazie Beet's character, Amber. But now they're really kind of pulling her front and center where it's almost going to be like Invincible and Adam Eve are like, you know, like the main storyline that it's happening to. And yeah, I guess that's my main prediction. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know how you handled the season three, episode eight finale. And make sure you guys check in next time for another episode of The Blurred Wire. Until then, take care.